Good morning, everybody, and welcome to week 10. Hopefully you were able to take a little time off from school, get a break, maybe get some more hours in, maybe spend some time with family, or maybe just get some rest. We are now at week 10, and let me tell you that beginning this week through to the end of the semester, time is going to fly so fast. You don't think that it will, but I'll tell you, once spring hits, I mean, especially if we start getting some nicer weather and we stop getting all this rain, time is really just going to zip by. So be aware of that, especially as we head into our last few units of the course. But this week, we're ending Unit 3, and we are ending your main story at a glance writing assignment. So let's kind of dive into what the week looks like for you in terms of where your time is going to go. First, you have that rhetorical analysis of research, and the last week that you can turn it in is this week. Now, remember, this assignment was available to you beginning in week 8. Some of you turned it in week 8. Some of you turned it in before break in week 9. I've gotten a few during spring break. The last week that you can turn it in is this week, and so that final due date is this Sunday. Your information about the main story at a glance, again, I think I've pretty much touched base with everybody about the topics. And so if you have questions, again, take a look at especially the guidance page. You know, both of these pages in the module have information about the assignment, including some student examples from last semester. So I would really encourage you to take a look at those examples. And then your writing assignment where you're actually going to upload it is here. Again, that due date is Friday, but you have, of course, until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. as your grace period to get that turned in. Because this is an end of unit assignment, you do have a reflection, and that is also due Friday with the grace period of 11:59 p.m. on Sunday night. Keep in mind that these two assignments, they need to be turned in together. Not necessarily at the same time, but you can't turn in one assignment and not turn in the other because both are required. And again, that's part of how I have designed this course because we're not doing or following a traditional grade format. The assignment and the reflection are both required elements of the class. The other thing that you're working on this week, and this is something to do at the very end, once you've turned in your rhetorical analysis of research, once you've turned in your main story at a glance and your reflection and you're basically kind of done, then it's time to share your writing with your peers. And so there's a discussion board where you are going to upload an attachment of your main story. So you can either attach, I think a PDF is probably the easiest. You can attach a Word doc. Please do not attach the Google Doc because that's what I'm going to be using to give you feedback. So use it as an attachment, save it as an attachment, upload it to the discussion board, and that's just a way for us to share our writing. And again, to kind of share some of what we've learned, right? You are potentially going to be exposed to 30 different topics of things that are happening right now in the world. And so I want you to be able to learn from your peers in a way that that's kind of meaningful, right? And that's part of why I gravitated towards this format from the beginning, from the Week magazine, is because it gives me, as kind of someone who's busy, as we all are, an opportunity to learn about something that's happening in the world in a meaningful way and also very quickly. And so I want to provide that opportunity to you as well. So everyone is going to upload an attachment of their main story, and then everyone is also going to go back into the discussion board and read one or two, right? And give some feedback. And again, this is not constructive criticism. This is not, oh, you forgot a comma. Oh, you have a run-on sentence. That is not the point. That's not even my point. That's not my goal. What I want you to do is just learn and give some positive feedback, like, I didn't know about this, and thanks for sharing, and I thought it was really interesting, right? You can even kind of think back to some of those sentence frames that we learned about in Unit 2, again, not to counter argument and not to say, oh, I think you're right, I think you're wrong, but more just to engage with each other in conversation, right? And so the discussion board is meant as a way for you to do that. Okay, and then that kind of brings us to the end. So there's not necessarily any instruction this week. It's really more about revising your draft. And as I had mentioned before spring break, I really encouraged you to get a rough draft done before break so that way you weren't scrambling this week after the spring break. We are headed into Unit 4 next week. It's another short unit, and we'll talk more about it then. But as for this week, your main goal is that main story at a glance. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to let me know. I hope you have a good week back.